Coming up on Newsroom WolvHaven, we'll give you a recap of the February 2021 general election results, uncertainty as the server goes down on the last day of the election, and again later in the month due to separate issues. The WolvHaven website migrates, and the WolvHaven broadcasting channel website is shut down. I'm Perfect Trains, in One North, and you're watching Newsroom WolvHaven. WolvHaven was took to the polls earlier this month, with the polling station at City Hall open for voting between the 5th of February and the 7th of February, while posting voting opened for a day earlier. Little Doggy 2 now gives us a recap of the results.
From the 4th to the 7th earlier this month, WolvHaveners were once again asked to go to the polls for a very different 14th parliamentary election. For the first time ever, 4 newly created ministers were directly voted in by the public, and the number of MPs was reduced to only 3, resulting in 7 elected members, down 10 from 17 in the previous term. Parties were also not able to run this time, resulting in all candidates independently campaigning. Another big change this election was the dual voting system. Ministers were elected with the already in use party-list proportionate or PLP system, where votes for each candidate converted into a percentage of overall votes, and the candidate with the largest proportion of votes wins. Meanwhile, MPs were elected using the single transferable vote or STV system, where voters were instead asked to list their preferred candidates. A minimum vote threshold was put in place. Once a candidate had reached said threshold, the election official would instead use the second candidate on subsequent votes, whether the already elected candidate was listed first. After polls closed, we saw several landslide victories within the ministerial positions, with Coetzee taking a lead of 39 votes over Just Ellie's 5, the Minister of Internal Affairs. Bok Obama won with 25 votes against Gravity Duke's 19, the Minister for Creative Affairs. Laka HDD had another landslide victory of 35 votes to Caden 303's 9 as Minister for Infrastructure and National Development. And finally, number 21 took a victory of 38 votes versus Stellani Union's 6. Sir Kiwi, Gravity Duke and Stellani Union were also elected as members of Parliament. Following results, the integrity of the system was questioned by candidate Caden 303, who called the election biased and poorly done. He later went on to blame the different system for the alleged poor results. Minister for Internal Affairs Coetzee, along with others, were quick to chime in, comparing Caden's allegations to those of the former US Republican President Donald Trump. However, after confirming these allegations were indeed serious, Helper Plank the Noob said, and quote, "I don't think you ever had even a close possibility to win. Lucker won by a lot more than you. Hence, if I were you, I'd stop complaining. Unless you're here to openly accuse Ambrose of cheating on the counting, and knowing him, I highly doubt it. So please stop making yourself ridiculous." End quote. Multiple others also went on to criticise Caden's allegations, which as of the date of broadcast remain without evidence. This is Little Doggy 2 for Newsnet Westbridge.
There was extreme uncertainty during the last few hours of the polling, as many players were unable to connect to the server. Server staff rushed to urge would-be voters to cast their ballots via postal vote, as higher echelons of staff were nowhere to be seen. The issue was fixed shortly after the polls closed and was revealed to be caused by DNS issues. The server was disrupted once again on the 19th of February for a configuration error. Repairs of the server machine required co-owner Nicholas to physically present at the site of the server machine itself, to which slowed down repairs. On the 21st of February, Nicholas informed all visitors in hashtag announcements that the server had been fixed and that the issue was caused by an update to its operating system, which also disturbed the server's machine's CPU. In an announcement made by President Silverwolf on the 5th of February, it was announced that the WolvHaven website would be migrated to a new service provider. This change will also tie in for the decommission of the WBC website and the creation of a new wiki managed directly by the server. The first two changes were put into place from the 7th of February, with the website being intermittently inaccessible while the changes were made. The WBC website was also ceased operation at the time, reducing WolvHaven official broadcasters' presence to their Twitter account and YouTube channel. Contracts were put out for various events linked with the planned celebrations of the server's upcoming 10th anniversary. Minister for Infrastructure and National Development, Laka HDD, put out the first of them. The Grand Parade and Parade Decoration contract for bidding on the hashtag market channel on the 22nd of February. It was also revealed to Newsnet that architects Captain Slow and Little Doggy 2 have been given approval to work on a separate undisclosed projects linked to the celebrations. Still ahead on Newsroom WolvHaven. Server upgrades to 1.16 and all of your questions answered in hashtag AskNewsNet. We'll see you in a moment. Welcome back. On the 5th of February, President Silverwolf announced that he had signed an executive order removing all so-called egg emojis. He stated that the removal of these player head emojis was the first step towards removing the notion that players who are more active on the server are more valued than others. He stated that this notion has been quite a, quote, prevalent source of toxicity in the past, and had some members had expressed concerns that the overusage of egg emojis irked other players. Staff emojis were also removed out of a question of fairness. Players with Disco Nitro would still, however, be allowed to use their custom emojis on the server as long as they followed server rules. The President also took the opportunity of the announcement to remind members of the community to be more patient when explaining things to the new joiners, especially relating to the proposals regarding the neural network. Following months of testing on the test server, WolvHaven finally upgraded to Minecraft version 1.16 on the 15th of February. In an announcement made by DEFCON member _11, it was clarified that players would be able to use both 1.16.4 and or 1.16.5 clients to connect to the server. He also stated that the upgrade process took longer than expected and that some issues that had not appeared on the test server had occurred. In addition, _11 added that the 11 v2 plugin was temporarily removed due to compatibility issues. WolvHaven's third broadcast's first news bulletin is set to release on the 28th of February in a request for ads. UASN founder Stellar Union revealed that the Studio News, the broadcaster's flagship news bulletin, would indeed be a broadcast at the end of the month. And finally, hashtag AskNewsNet with Matthew.
Well, thanks, Perfect. Our first question this month is whether President Silverwolf were to resign, whether Nixilis would become the president or one of the PSOs, so Principal Staff Officers. So the answer is, we asked Silverwolf, and he told us that since Nixilis physically owns the server machine, he would be second in command and would take over should anything happen. And Our second and last question from Willy Woo, who's asking us, how many hours does it take to produce a Newsnet video? That's an excellent question, and it really does depend on how much news we actually have each month. This month's news broadcast is about 10 minutes, so scripting takes about maybe a bit less than an hour, and what really takes the longest is recording, especially if there's a lot of reading to do, a lot of text. We tend to stumble and have to redo takes, and editing takes a long time, especially when there's a lot of footage we need to integrate, interviews, etc., as we have to put all that together. And that's the answer to your question. Thanks for the questions, by the way. It's something that we're not asked often. And back to you, Perfect.
And that's it for this edition of Newsroom WolvHaven. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.